Hello gamers, welcome to Gaming Daily Input. Today we'll be talking about Watch Dogs 2 vs Saints Row Reboot, which is best. It's gonna be an interesting topic, do stay with me till the end of the video to learn more about it. Let's get started, enjoy! The Saints Row series is regarded as one of the best series in the action-adventure and open-world genre. The game was created by Volition and published by Deep Silver. It appears that the Saints Row Reboot's gameplay will fall in between the prior two games' realism. Players are undoubtedly excited to play the newest installment in this legendary video game franchise. Additionally, developers of the Saints Row Reboot have provided a brief sneak preview of the upcoming reboot, dubbed Boss Factory. Players can customize the playable character to suit their choices. While Watch Dogs 2 is an open-world action-adventure third-person video game developed by Ubisoft Montreal and published by Ubisoft, it was released worldwide on November 15, 2016 for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, with the PC port released on November 29, 2016. The sequel to its 2014 predecessor, Watch Dogs 2 takes place in San Francisco, California. The player takes control of Marcus Holloway, a hacker and a member of the hacktivist group DedSec who aims to take down CTOS 2.0. The game was followed by Watch Dogs Legion in 2020. There's nothing in the new Saints Row to challenge Watch Dogs. I'm clinging to the roof of a dune buggy as we race into the center of a sandstorm, chased by members of Los Panteros riding dirt bikes. Gripping the vehicle with one hand, I shoot at my pursuers with the other, sending them off into the surrounding dust cloud. This should be exciting, but as with most of Saints Row, it feels like I've done this before in other better games. So Saints Row isn't that challenging to other games. This new Saints Row comes nearly a decade since the last full-blooded game in the series and 7 years since its last standalone expansion, Gat Out of Hell. And returning to its open-world crime-em-up, developer Volition has decided that, rather than continuing the story of the original gang, it's going to reboot and tell you about the formation of a new group. These characters are all young 20-somethings struggling to make rent while working for the different gangs that populate Santo Ileso. You play the boss, starting the game in the employ of Marshall, a heavily armed private army. You're joined by Nina, a driver for Los Panteros, Kevin, who fights for Daft Punk helmet wearers, the Idols, and Eli, who is convinced he will become a business mogul and make millions. They go for nights out, cook family dinners, and between talking about how hard it is to pay student loans, they squabble over buying a waffle iron. It may be that, through the game, I'll become more invested in the different Saints and their bid to found their own criminal empire, but after 4 hours in their company, I hadn't warmed to any of them. I could only think of how well drawn the similarly young and criminal family unit of Watch Dogs 2 was. Those characters faced similar struggles, trying to make rent, carve out their own space, build a gang, and I liked them. I fought for them, and some of the later story turns hit hard because of how invested I'd become in who they were. I hope the same will happen with the Saints, but the early part of the game hasn't made me hopeful. Saints Row does everything you would want it to, expect it to. You're presented with a big open city to explore. There's a main campaign of scripted missions. The game world is scattered with side quests to activate. You gain experience from completing missions, leveling up and unlocking new skills to use in combat. There are vehicles to steal and customize, shops where you can buy weapons and clothes. You'll rob armored cars, compete in street races, start unscripted chaos by drawing gangs and cops into AI-driven battles. And yet, I can't escape the knowledge that Saints Row doesn't stack up against other open-world games. The dune buggy mission doesn't look as good or feel as dramatic as the sandstorms and avalanches Mad Max. Driving around the city of Santo Ileso, cars feel unresponsive and the roads I'm driving on are flat, lacking the potholes and surface differences you find in GTA 5. Where each car feels like part of the world. In combat, the guns lack punch and physicality, something done much better in the recent Mafia Definitive Edition. This Saints Row even has a wingsuit, which draws immediate and unfavorable comparisons to the Just Cause games. where that tool paired with the grapple hook becomes an essential and joyful way to navigate the world. And just cause, you start to look at every passing car, every building, and every tall tree as a potential handhold to fling yourself around. In Saints Row, there are towers dotted around the city that you can hit action next to, firing you into the air. Then you glide down. It feels stagnant and compartmentalized. Again, I've only spent 4 hours with this new Saints Row. It could be that as you extend your reach into Santo Alesso, different systems will begin to overlap, giving the game a sense of coherence. As you take control of the city, you'll take ownership of different businesses and, as well as taking a cut of their profits, unlock quest lines to complete. This criminal empire could potentially give you a closer relationship with the city, or maybe it'll just feel like more side quests. For the moment, Saints Row feels like a grab bag of features that sit on top of the world, disconnected from the lives unfolding on its streets. While you can criticize Watch Dogs Legion for having repetitive missions and an unsatisfying campaign, it offered something you couldn't find in any other open-world game. Every single NPC in its world was unique, and that system then fed into all your activities across the game. I didn't encounter any system in Saints Row that'll give you the same sense of impact or purpose. The original run of Saints Row games fought to get out from under the shadow of Grand Theft Auto and carve out their own space as an absurdist power fantasy. The first game was criticized for being a rehash of Rockstar's market leader, but with each sequel, Volition went to places Rockstar wouldn't. GTA's developer was set on a veneer of realism, but Volition didn't let itself be bound by those rules. By the end of 2015's Gat Out of Hell, Saints Row players had been elected president, fought off an alien invasion, gained superpowers, and even beaten the devil himself. You had effectively become a demigod, one armed with a 6-foot purple dildo. In rebooting the series, stepping back to a more intimate story, Volition has made itself smaller, so much so it's struggling to make itself seen. Thank you for staying with me till the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like and share the video. You can leave your questions and thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified when we add new videos in the future. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.